All right. Welcome, 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 everyone. I'm so grateful to be here with Create Me. Thank you for having me. My name is Margot Ford, and I'm the founder of TLC Consulting. And we are a early childhood education consulting firm. Do some coaching and some professional development and also some parent engagement things. And I am also the published author of Mirrors Up, which is a children's book full of affirmations. I know we had one, I believe two people read it already with Create Me during last month's book read aloud. And this is National Book Month, National Reading Month. So definitely want to highlight Mirrors Up and affirmations and how important they are to me, right? All right, so tonight we're talking about partnership on purpose and with passion. We're gonna go ahead and just jump right in. So greetings again to all the guardians and valuable stakeholders in our community. I'm super, super happy that you find it valuable enough to take time out to listen, learn, and those types of things, right? So ironically, I was telling someone that right before this meeting, I just got out of a PTA meeting at my daughter's school. So when you think of the word partnership, what does it mean to you? That's what, kind of the question of the day for it is, right? Like I told you, I'm an educator. So sometimes I come from that lens of, holding you accountable for what we're discussing. So what do you think about, just prior knowledge? What comes into your brain when you think about partnerships? You can write in the chat and discuss with whoever else is watching with you, but, type a word in the chat, right? So I think of collaboration, unity, relationships, participation, partnership, all of that good stuff, right? Partnership is the word, but participation, relationship, unity, collaboration. So those are the things that kind of come to my brain when I think about partnership. So in college, my favorite word when a few years ago when I went back to school, my favorite word became stakeholder. And I was so intrigued by that word because of the experiences that I had as an educator, a parent. And I felt like my voice in those two lenses were different, unique, but very valuable, right? So I'm really big on building relationships with the families that I serve in my classroom. And a lot of times I realized that families didn't feel like they were valued because, the educator was considered the expert. But reality is families are just as valuable, if not more. We all have our gift that we bring to the table when we are trying to grow these beautiful citizens in our community, right? When we're trying to plant those seeds. So stakeholder often means a person with the interest or concern in something, especially we hear it a lot of time in business terms, but guess what? That's me and you, your mama and your cousin too. Like it's everybody. We all have a valuable part in the upbringing of our children in society, like in the community, right? Like we miss those neighborhood grandmas and, the neighborhood aunties. A lot of those things are not as norm, especially during the pandemic too, right? But just those stakeholder engagement and how everyone has a piece, to bring to the table, to the puzzle, to help build these successful citizens and human beings, right? So Family engagement is the intentional participation and or involvement of a person who cares. So a lot of times we have guardians who are not biologically parents to those that they care for. Sometimes grandmas are raising, sometimes it's aunties, sometimes it's mom's best friend who, just is helping out and became a guardian. So a lot of times, it's different people that help with that. So stakeholder engagement consists of everyone collaborating together. So how can we build that, right? Like, remember that word partnership, come back to it, like partnership. So in North Carolina, there is lots of different resources. DPI, which is Department of Public Instruction, has a resource on family engagement. And also my arena, the Early Childhood, that foundation, they have a whole framework on family engagement and leadership, right? So at the bottom of the screen, you can see, hopefully, that family engagement continuum. And it talks about the difference between involvement, engagement, and leadership, and how different agencies are, the different continuum levels for the parent role. So, sometimes the parent is just a recipient. They're only getting things from the school. Sometimes it's that partnership, like that we mentioned, and that's the back and forth, the feedback. So, maybe the school gives an end of year assessment. What can we do better? How can we help you? Those guardian parent teacher conferences, different things of that sort, right? I think I was telling you all, I just literally got out of a PTA meeting, right? So I'm going to put some links in the chat. And sorry, that's the wrong one. So I'm going to put some links in the chat, and hope it works. Give me a second. I'll put some links in the chat to these two documents that will allow you the opportunity to do some research on your own. I think it's going to work. Thank you for patience. All right, there you go. Got them. So check out some of these links in your spare time and just think about, where do you want to be on the continuum? I know things are going on in our lives, right? To where at some point, sometimes, some school years, we might only want to be a recipient. Like, we can only get information, but we're going to be intentional about participating in those services. If they have parent night, we're going to go, right? That's just being a recipient. But if there's time for engagement, meaning possibly PTSA or PTA, or opportunities for it to be engagement, a partnership between the school, whether it might be on this being a member of the school leadership board. I don't think that's the term that they use, but different entities within the school that you could possibly be a part of. And then that leadership role, go be a change agent. Join PTA and be the president, or, join the actual board and help make decisions, right? So think about those things as you partnership on purpose, right? With passion. So in North Carolina, I mentioned the PTA, and there's also a 21st Century grant. Guilford County is a part of that grant, and it's only at certain schools. So, or different agencies. I know, I believe it's at a couple elementary schools, but it's through Black Child Development. They received the grant for the 21st century. So what North Carolina says about family engagement is, they're putting it on the districts to adopt plans, policies, and strategies, right? But a lot of times that just becomes a check mark on a list. So I think it's a part, it's a family, it's for families. That's where that purpose and that passion comes in, yes, the district has this plan, but how can I help implement it? How can I engage and partner with the school, with the teachers, to make sure that it's not just a check mark, that it's being intentional? Because reality is, when we incorporate and engage with the families, we're helping our children. We're building that foundation of support that they need to grow and to succeed. Because I always think of it like this, where I'm an early care and education professional, right? So from the foundation, we're talking about care, which is like nurturing, and also education. So we find them both valuable. Well, that's just the foundation. We need that care and education as they matriculate through their academic career. So it doesn't just stop in, early learning, pre-K and before. No, we need that in K-12 as well. They need care, they need nurturing. We can't just all focus on the education. And sometimes families are the ones who remind everyone in the process, like, hey, I know what my child needs. My child needs a little bit more nurturing in their social and emotional. This is when you build those relationships, we know how to approach certain things. And that's for families, that's for all stakeholders, right? The community knows how they can take a part in it as well. And I will, if I strongly encourage you to join your PTA if you have not. I'm hoping everyone here is, a part of their school PTA. And if not, and you need help learning how to get one started, I put the link in the chat, and we can share them on the YouTube at a later time, Miss Erica, if need be. But definitely join your PTA, get involved, join different things, ask what's needed at the school, but that partnership on purpose is intentional with your classroom teachers, your children's classroom teachers. I know it's been hard kind of, having to do virtual school, and then the pandemic, you weren't able to go into the school, but let's get creative. Let's build those relationships beyond class dojo and, certain things. Let's talk. Like, I want to tell you how my child is. I want to tell you my goals for my child to succeed, and their lifelong goals. Those things are truly, truly, truly important. So let's see. So I'm going to tell you so we're talking about the laws, right? That says that districts have to adopt plans. So there's two of them. There's North Carolina General Statute 115, and that one just talks about to increase parent involvement in student achievement and graduation preparation. So it's saying what the local boards have to do. So if your local school district or your learning agency, even if it's charter schools, have to follow certain things. So the schools are, press the wrong button. The schools are encouraged to do these certain things that follow with school improvement plans, right? So it has to be a part of the school improvement plan, and the board actually, has a huge deal with that as well. Also in 2022, the governor declared November as Family Engagement Month. Well, we're just using that month to highlight, but family engagement is 365. even in the summertime, make sure your child is engaged, make sure you're preparing for the next academic year, setting goals, for what's going to be my family engagement goal. What am I going to achieve? Is it going to be join PTA? Is it going to be make sure I meet with the teacher once a month? Even though the teacher is sending me certain things every week, when am I going to reach out and be intentional and ask questions, setting goals? I have calendar reminders in my phone to reach out to teachers and just say, hey, thank you for everything you're doing. I'm super, super grateful. Is there anything you need? Everyone's super, super busy, but just sometimes that asking lets them know, like, oh, okay, I might can reach out. It's two ways. It's a partnership. Let them know that you are being intentional, and you can say, I've set a goal to reach out to you. You're setting the bar for your child's success. So make sure you do that. Or I would encourage you to do that. I shouldn't say make sure, but you have to know what works best for your family. And like I said, sometimes it might be an aunt or something who is like, this is what I want to help with this child. They're a valuable stakeholder if they're involved in that child's life. So, encourage that communication and that effort to do that. I'm going to try and post. I'll share where you can find these general statutes. If you don't see it happening in your school and you want to bring it up, you want to be an advocate and say, what is our parent involvement plan for our school? Or, there's one for most districts, of course, but if it's a charter school or something, ask those certain things. What is our policies and procedures in place for involvement, engagement, leadership within guardians? So this was pulled from the early childhood education engagement leadership link that I sent earlier. And what does family engagement and leadership look like? So think about those responsive relationships. We kind of mentioned those, that two-way communication between the educator and the family, but also, talking to your child in the home. What do you like about school? What do you not like? How can we help? How can we make it better? And also sharing stories that happen with you, that you value from your childhood and how you want those things to look, those shared decisions. If we're making decisions about my child, I want to be at the table. I want to have a say, because I know what goals I've set for my child. I know our beliefs, our practices, those are important. And we want to build culturally curious children, like from an educator's perspective. So it's valuable for me to know how you learn certain things or how you desire your child to learn certain things, welcoming environments. Let's have a beautification day. If you have a goal of decorating, you can link up with the teacher. Hey, I would love if a parent came in my learning classroom and said, hey, let's spruce it up. Let's, of course, being safe, but, just making sure that the spaces feel safe. If you see something that's out of place, say something. Don't just say, this school needs to get that together. Okay, what do we do? Do I need to go to the school board as a parent and advocate? Do I need to, advocate for the school environment, make sure it's welcoming? And a lot of times it's not the school board, it's county commissioners too. They select the budget. So just knowing that you're building partnerships on purpose and with passion. So sometimes that looks like advocacy. The communication, make sure it's two-way. That teacher has not emailed me since the beginning of the school year. She might be out on maternity leave. And yes, she probably should have told you, or he might be out for surgery, but reach out too. Make sure it's two-way, and just try to be listen from a place of understanding, to understand, to comprehend what's being said. Ask questions. Make sure it's ongoing. Tell the teacher, like, it's best if you email me or text me. I don't do well with or you might not do well with emails, or you might not like the app Class Dojo, but you would prefer email. Most teachers, try to make sure that they have ways to communicate with families. So that communication is two-way, right? And advocacy, we mentioned that too. So I'm such an advocate for parents and families being engaged and advocating for their child. Say what your beliefs are. Say, this is how my family does this, and this is what I want for my child. Your goals for your children, those are important. Please speak up and say those things, because your child, if that's the norm at home, they're going to have certain things and beliefs that they practice within other learning environments too. That program planning, get on the school improvement plan committee, so you can help make improvements and help plan for the next program year. Advocating for the whole school, which, helps your family, and on purpose with passion, right? And accountability. Make some connections with some community members, but do self-assessments of yourself. Could I have done better this year as a parent, communicating, or what else could I have done? And then set goals, plan for the next year, So those are some things to just kind of think about from that way. So in TLC, our pathways to success is about these 3 P's. We got the 3 P's. So preparation, develop a plan of action, set your goals, prepare to protect the ones that you are gifted with nurture and care, that you care for. So think about planning makes it possible to achieve the desired results, right? So it can be weekly, monthly, yearly goals. I like to create vision boards to set goals, and then also create wellness toolkits. So for me, I have black belt soap body butter in my work desk, right? When I'm having a tough meeting, I just pull some out and just, rub it on my hair. It's like, whatever your wellness toolkit is. For our family, we we eat dinner together every night, right? Like, that's our wellness toolkit. So you have to prepare whatever works for you. If it's going to the movies or going for a walk, once a week, whatever it is, like, prepare, take that action plan, but also create that that wellness toolkit for that. Okay. And then protection, second P. Reality is all stakeholders don't embrace difference, right? So you got to communicate your needs and wants, because all stakeholders, educators included, do not embrace differences. My perception, my goal is that every educator would build culturally curious beings, right? Like, they would nurture cultural curiosity, meaning we embrace the differences of all families. Many of them, are privileged from some perspective and neglect the value of the uniqueness of each and every person. So, that's why it's important for us to speak up and speak out and protect your family values and beliefs. So, and there's ways to do that to where you're sharing and you're not, being offensive. You're speaking up for your child. So, just be sure you are being proactive, so you won't have to be reactive if possible, right? So, go in saying my values and my beliefs, your needs and your wants. That's that protection measure. So the last one is prioritize. So you know how I was saying care and education for TLC, and when we think of prioritize, it's care before education. The children are our future, and we must invest in their wellness. So there's a saying, you know, Maslow before Bloom. And that essentially means that in order for a person to effectively participate in the educational process, that's the Bloom part, that person must first have their basic needs met. So it's like a buzzword in the educational arena, but, you know, we have to focus on our social and emotional development first. So that's that care before we work on those other prerequisite skills of executive functioning things and academic success. So we must prioritize our mental health so that we can be effective. So I'm a strong believer in therapy and counseling. They have counselors at schools, you know, make connections with them, utilize them, their expertise. You know, communication is key in that prioritizing part. Communicating what your needs are. Sorry, that was protection. But those are some things that, you know, you have to kind of think about. So those are our 3 P's: preparation, protection, and prioritize. And that's our pathway to success when it comes to partnerships on purpose and with passion. So if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. That is one of my favorite quotes. Representative Shirley Chisholm, many of you may know, she was the first African-American elected to Congress. She ran for a presidency, and that was her quote. You know, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And I think that speaks highly to stakeholder engagement. A lot of times families don't feel like they have a seat at the table. Well, bring your folding chair. And I think Create Me, Miss Erica, is handing out chairs, right? Like she's providing these opportunities for families to get together and learn resources in the community. She's handing out chairs. Take your chair and go sit at a table wherever you need to for your child and for your beliefs and what you believe. So I charge you to get your folding chair and sit at any table that concerns your children. Okay? You are a powerful stakeholder, and your knowledge and opinions are valuable in creating equitable educational structures for your child and everyone else. We have to provide mirror and window experiences so other families are learning from you. Other families are being empowered by your engagement. It's like a domino effect, you know? So get involved, set your goals, have someone in your family or friends, you know, hold you accountable, but make sure you build partnerships. So I think it's valuable to build partnerships with the camps that your children go to, the schools that your children attend, the programs that your children are involved in. It's so important to be involved and engaged and build partnerships on purpose and with passion. And discover your why. Why is that so important to your family? How does that help your your children's future for success? So take those things into consideration. Mirrors Up. It's a book full of affirmations. If you don't have a copy, I say get one, of course. And we will have, I don't know if Miss Erica wants me to say it right now, but we'll have a read aloud next month. Is that okay to say?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We'll have a read aloud next month. I didn't know if it was out yet, but we'll have a read aloud next month for Mirrors Up. So check us out then. And you can even get the book before so you can follow along the night of the read aloud, right? All right. Miss Erica, were there any questions in the comments or anything?
Not on YouTube. Does anybody have any questions here? Let's see. And I shared your links on YouTube in the chat as well.
Okay. Thank you.
And I just want to say, well, thank you, number one.
Thank you.
I'm always taking notes during the Zooms. You said something about setting goals and eating together. A couple of years ago, we did a challenge. It was an incentive we added with it to see. We had someone in the comments said, thank you, it was very, very valuable. The information that you gave out tonight. But I think eating together as a family, I would love to see more of our households eating together as a family and having their devices away. Like at my house, we don't have like dinner is like our family time. That's when we talk about what we did for the day. Like my phone is in a whole nother room. When we are at a restaurant, same thing. And now it is so everyone is just dinner time is maybe mom's on the phone with her friend while she's eating, maybe the child's in front of a device or watching TV while she's eating. No one's really coming to the table anymore and sitting together. So that was one of the points I put a star beside, because that's a goal that I would love to get all of the families that I deal with. And, they could kind of, like you said, it's a domino effect. They would start it, then they could tell their friends about it. And parents, you'll be surprised some of the things your children will talk about and discuss at the table. And also, that's where that table manners come into play. I know I have to redirect as far as table manners. You'll just be surprised, who doesn't know how to do this or that because they don't do it at home. And so it starts at home. So if you learn that at home and then you take it on with you, nobody wants to be an adult and they've never sat at a table. And so it's like, well, I didn't know we couldn't sit at the table with our elbows. And so, it all starts at home, and it's good to have a goal. So families start with a small goal. So that's just my take on tonight, and I enjoyed it.
I'm glad. Goals are so important. And like you said, start small, it doesn't have to be something major. And something that I thought about is I love the term culturally curious. I was the child who, if I had a friend who didn't look like me, I wanted to go and see what they did at their house and how it was different and unique, right? Like that was just who I was and still am. A lot of my friends are different than me, not just skin, complexion, or tones, but, just different and all unique abilities, right? So I think it's so important for our children to experience those things too, just because, it makes them culturally relevant and responsive, but also it helps you expand your toolkit. So, if I go to my friend's house and they all go for a walk every day together. Well, in my house, we didn't grow up walking together and exercising together, but that when I join in my friend, it's encouraging me. It's a window experience because I didn't do it as a child, but now I'm seeing someone else value their health and certain things. So it's so important for us to share and not just stay in our own little silos. Like share what you do out. I think that's powerful to share, like you were saying, Miss Erica, that you eat at the table, without your phone. And that's encouraging. It's almost like charging someone else to do it. Like, try it. You might like it because you realize that you have those valuable conversations. And trust me, when you get a teenager, that's probably the only time you're going to get a little bit of conversation out of them. Like, put everything away. Let's have dinner and talk. They're going through their phases. Our youngest is a ninth grader in high school. So totally get it, right? All right. Is there any more questions? But that is super, super powerful. Setting goals. We did not do it this year, but last year we did a family vision board. to kind of hold everyone accountable, and we need to do it again. Like you're encouraging me to get that done, right? Like, but last year we had a family vision board just to hold everybody accountable. Like everyone put something on this board that we want to hold each other accountable on, you know? And I think that's powerful too. I'm a visual person. So if I can see it in my office when I'm working, or, you know, in your bedroom, wherever you want to put it, just so you can help hold everyone accountable.
I agree. So I don't know if, does anybody have any input? One person? Did anybody get anything? No, nobody wants to talk. Okay.
Anybody want to talk?
I was like, the information you gave was very helpful. I guess I just have one question. So how do you engage or try to get a teacher to engage that don't want to engage? For example, like I've emailed my child's current teacher about setting up meetings now, since they have listed the COVID restriction and allowing us, parents back to the school to meet one-on-one. I have not heard anything back from